Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Let's Get Cooking with Wayne. I'm Wayne. Tonight we're doing the final installment of our Haitian dishes, and tonight we're going to do the griot. That's what it's called. It's fried pork, and this is where we used and from the last episode I told you we were going to use the epis in a meal. This is that meal. The marinade, how it's used, is great. And the other dishes like the dairy collet, it's not a marinade in that case. It is an actual seasoning that you put into the dish itself. In this case, we use it for a marinade. We also use orange juice and lime juice to bathe the meat, to clean it, and that citrus helps I'd say break down the enzymes in the meat, helps tenderize it. This is a great dish. It takes forever to make, to be perfectly honest with you. As you're going to see, you're going to use water. Okay, here's something I have discovered. I've talked to several people who are Cubans. The slow cooker is not the way that the true traditional way of doing it. They do it the same way that the Haitians do the griot. And what they do is they're going to put it in there with water. You're going to cover it with water, and you're going to cook the water out. You're going to cook it until the water is gone. They do the same thing with the ropa vieja. Okay, so yes, with the ropa, I took the shortcut by using the slow cooker, made it easier. In this case, I did it the old-fashioned way. I covered it with water, and it took forever. So you probably could do this in the slow cooker as well. I'm not sure if I would, to be honest with you. In this case, it is better to do it the old-fashioned way. The meat, I used pork shoulder, if I'm not mistaken, and if you cook it not long enough, it's still tough, chewy. But when you cook it just the right amount of time, like obviously you do with this, it's very tender. And this was a fantastic dish. It was a big pleaser with all Sue and the kid, and I'm glad I did it. So here we go. We got some griot going for you, and we'll come right back. So let's get cooking. All right, so we've already got our epis made. That's what this is right here. That's all we need for this recipe right here. If you take a look at it, you can see how it's a puree, and even by nursing home cook standards, which is what me and Sue both have done. We were nursing home dietary cooks at one point. Alright, so the first thing the recipe calls for is the juice of a sour orange. We went with blood orange because, well, that's what we could find at this moment, and it's the sourest we can come up with. Now, what I'm doing is for another recipe later on, I've already zested some of the orange peel. I'm just going to roll it a little bit. Then what we're going to do, cut it in half. Look at that. Alright, so.
Wow.
Alright, got one seed got away. I've already cubed up my pork. That's 1.5 pounds of pork shoulder. That's 1/2. And all I'm doing is, what I'm squeezing it into my hand for is so I can catch the seeds when they come out. Alright, so that is the juice of a blood orange. And then it calls for lime. Alright, I'll do it again just to show. Just roll it a little bit. I want to be able to get those juices to come out. Cut it in half. And once again, squeeze over your hand. You want the juices, not the seeds. and it'll also help get that garlic smell out of your hands. However, if you have any kind of cuts on your hand, you will find them. Trust me. Alright, so what we're going to do is what they call bathing it, or washing it is what the recipe says. Wash it in lime and the sour orange juice. Make sure all the pieces are covered. Alright. So then we're going to add the garlic powder, the thyme, seasoned salt. We got parsley. And then we've got some black pepper. Then we're going to add our epis. Look how easy that just came out. And we're going to marinate it. So what we're going to do is make sure it's all coated. Get all these flavors into the pork here. Now we're going to marinate this. It's best done overnight. But you can do it at a minimum of 4 hours. Alright, and there we go. Look at that. Alright, so we're going to cover this and we're going to let it set in the refrigerator for 4 hours. We'll see you then. Alright, so what we have here is I put some water in a saucepan. And now I'm going to add the pork that we've left marinating overnight. Alright, so let me get that and we'll add that to it. Alright, so what we've done is I've added the pork cubed up that we had marinating into the water, in which I used the bean, some leftover bean water. There's a lot of good nutritional value from that. And what I'm doing right now is I am going to leave the lid on, stirring occasionally, and I'm going to cook it until the water evaporates and that the meat is tender. Then I'm going to take the meat out, add a little bit of olive oil, put the meat back in, and we're going to brown it on both sides. And then we'll be done. So, here we go. Alright, so, meat is nice and tender. What we're doing now is I drained what little bit of water was left, and now we're going to brown them on each side. I'm going to do this a little bit at a time. I put in about, I'd say about quarter cup, no, I'd say an eighth of a cup of oil in the pan, hot pan. Don't put too much in there. You want to leave room in there to flip. And let me tell you, we've tried it already, and this meat is super tender and bursting with flavor. I mean, just completely bursting. Hey guys, we're back now. So that was the griot. Like I said, it took a while for it. Luckily for you, you have me doing the editing and cutting. So it didn't last as long as it actually did. But like I told you, it turned out beautiful. And I did do it. I did make the dairy colle, but I'll be honest with you, I was not pleased with how it turned out. The flavor was there. I have an issue sometimes with rice and not being cooked all the way through. So we're still going to work on that. Maybe I'll come back and do it again another time. Once again, shoot me an email. Let's get cooking with Wayne at gmail.com. Hit the subscribe button down there. Thumbs up. And we'll be back next time. And I'll let you find out what we're doing then.